Okay, welcome to Targeting Your Health. Today we're going to discuss mental health issues with Dr. Nicholas Coppola, Director, and Dr. Philip Cromer, Psychologist at the Mental Health Association in Indian River County. Please tell us your background, your training, what brought you into this work, and so on. Please, we'll start.
I'm a family physician. I worked in my own practice, and before that in public health for 23 years. I'm currently the CEO of the Mental Health Institution. I don't do clinical work here, but I have done a ton of clinical work with regard to people with mental as well as physical conditions, because as a family practice doc, you take care of, you're a generalist, you take care of everything that the patient has, and then when you need help with a specific problem, you call in a specialist, like a cardiologist for your heart, or an ophthalmologist for your eyes, or an orthopedist for your knees and hips.
Okay.
Or a psychiatrist or psychologist like Dr. Phil Cromer is for your mental health problems.
Okay, Phil?
Yes, hi. Thank you for having us. Dr. Phil Cromer, or as other people say, Dr. Phil or Phil, either is fine. I'm a licensed Florida psychologist. I have a wide variety of experiences, really. For a number of years, I was the director of psychological services at Florida Atlantic University. I've also been in private practice. I've done some work in VA hospitals, inpatient PTSD wards, so I have a wide range of experience.
Okay, now that we know who you are, would you tell us something about the Mental Health Institute, or pardon me, Mental Health Association in Indian River County? What is it? What is its role, and how does it work?
Well, basically, the important thing to know first off about the Mental Health Association in Indian River County is that we've been around for 60 years. A lot of people don't know that. And it was started by a lady named Inga Helseth. And she and her family moved here from Oslo, Norway in, the early 1900s, when this was still, I believe, St. Lucie County, before it even became Indian River County. She grew up, she went to a one-room schoolhouse and never graduated high school, and yet she became the first female principal of a school in the state of Florida.
Wow.
She was a principal of Fort Pierce Middle School. She got married, moved to New York, got a degree in child psychology from Columbia University, and in 1958 moved back here at the age of about 40 and asked the police to stop locking up people who had mental illness. And she started seeing them for free. So that's why we still do, to this very day, same-day mental health screenings here for free. Walk in and be seen by a therapist. And it's basically a form of therapy. You get evaluated. And then we also have therapists here at our walk-in and counseling center that will follow up. We had just hired Dr. Phil to deal with some increase that we had due to the COVID problem recently, which we'll get to later, I'm sure.
We will.
We also have a psychiatrist that works here, so we run the full gamut of mental health and behavioral health illness here. We also have 3 peer-run drop-in centers, one in Martin County, one in Okeechobee County, and one here. We're also looking at the possibility of opening one in Fort Pierce. That's news. But at the drop-in centers, we're an affiliate of Mental Health America. There are 260 affiliates across the country. And what Mental Health America does, it gives peer-run drop-in centers for those with chronic mental illnesses. So they have a place to go. We feed them. We're open 365 days a year from 8 to 5. And they go there, they socialize, they do classes like mindfulness and other skill building classes, and they're around peers like themselves, so it's a very comfortable environment. We've also started a program there for our veterans and first responders with PTSD, where they can go between the hours of 4 and 6 on certain days, and they meet there and they provide their own classes for their fellows, and we find that helps them relate to their own peers as well.
Excellent.
So we have the drop-in and recovery centers and the walk-in and counseling center, and that's basically what we do in the community.
Since the COVID-19 motivated stay-at-home orders took effect, the news media have reported an increase in mental health issues that people experience: loneliness, depression, financial stress, just to name a few. Comment on that, or have you seen that coming to your practice or to the people here who would show up? Besides that, I have to show this. This is a Mallard Fillmore cartoon that relates exactly to that subject. So I'm going to ask you to look at it and comment on it too. It talks about the pandemic is taking a toll on everyone's mental health, but especially those already prone to depression and anxiety. And we know that overexposure to news media is part of the problem. Anyway, take a look at it and think, does that describe what you're seeing?
Well, we have absolutely seen an increase in a lot of problems. Mostly what we've seen is something we hadn't seen before. First responders and healthcare workers that have been on the front lines of COVID have been under a great deal of stress because they've been going nonstop. So they are finding huge issues with regard to, dealing with not only the severity, the death, and everything associated with COVID, but also the fact that so many places are closed, and yet the natural world around us seems that it hasn't changed, but their world's upside down.
You're answering one of my next questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's so fine. It has to do with the medical and public safety people and their concerns in terms of mental health.
Yeah, it's really important to think of our first responders. I mean, these are the people that take care of us. Such a critical job, and you can't pour from an empty glass, so we have to support them, and more importantly, they need to support each other. They have to have times to kind of debrief, talk about things, decompress. They have very specific concerns and issues, more so than just the layman person. They're concerned about having enough PPE. They don't want to take things home to their friends and family. Compassion fatigue. All these things are very important for our first responders.